If you plan on visiting Disneyland in 2022, watch this video first, okay? Things have changed, things have updated. Don't worry though, okay? We're gonna be discussing all of that and how to plan for it as I go over the 10 things that you need to know before visiting Disneyland in 2022. So stay tuned here at Jake at the Park. Happy New Year, everyone. It is officially 2022, and I'm officially Jake from Jake at the Park. For those of you new to this channel, welcome. I highly suggest subscribing, liking, sharing this very video with your friends and family members, or anyone who is a Disney fan. I know we hear that all the time, but it really does help me out and helps this channel expand. So you're planning a trip in 2022 to Disneyland or DCA, but you're a little overwhelmed, you're a little scared. Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, reservations, do we still have to wear masks? In this video, we're gonna be discussing some important things. That's right, 10 things that you need to know before visiting Disneyland in 2022. I made a video all about the things that you need to know before visiting Disneyland in 2021, which I highly suggest watching, especially if you haven't been since COVID-19. However, definitely watch this video afterwards, because if you show up to these parks and have no idea about these things, unfortunately, not only are you gonna have a bad time, but you might not even get into the parks, okay? Because remember, we still have the reservation system. That is here to stay. But as far as like booking some of these rides, or, you know, this whole Fast Pass, Max Pass, Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, it's all kind of come back, but it's all updated, it's all rebranded. It could be a little confusing if you're just reading the headlines or kind of looking on Disneyland's website. So again, if you haven't visited since COVID, watch my 2021 10 things that you need to know video. I'm gonna put it in the description below, and then jump to this video because there are some updates, all right? It is not the exact same, it's similar, but there are some updates. But you don't need to worry because I'm gonna break this down and make it nice and simplistic for you so you can definitely understand in just a matter of minutes, okay? We wanna make this easy for you. So let's get right to it. Genie Plus, Lightning Lane. What is this? I'm gonna break it down very simply for you. Okay, a lot of people are making this a lot more confusing than it needs to be. So within the Disneyland app, there is a new tool, if you will. It's almost like a new button, a new tab, and it's called Genie. Genie is completely free. It comes already updated on your Disneyland app. You don't need to download anything. It's not a separate entity. It is literally located in the Disneyland app that you obviously need before visiting Disneyland or DCA. I think a lot of people are referring to Genie as an app. It's not separate. It's not an app. You don't need to go to the App Store and download it. You don't need to, see if it's compatible with your Android. It is just located within the Disneyland app. So we're gonna start there, okay? All this basically is like an updated window of what Disneyland was already offering before. When you go on the Disneyland app, you can see all the updates and, the current standby lines, and you could scroll the map, you can, check mark certain attractions, certain lands, that sort of thing. All this is doing is allowing you to prioritize and let Disney know which rides or attractions or things that you want to do, what are the most important ones for you during this day. And when you do that, not only is it giving Disney that information, but it also is just making it a lot simpler to see the things that you plan on doing. On the Disneyland app in 2021, before Genie, you would go on your phone, and if you wanted to look up, say you were at Haunted Mansion and you wanted to see the time for Space Mountain, you could obviously go on the app and look at the standby line, but you'd have to go through the map or you'd have to scroll. Sometimes it would take a second. And it's nice to have all of everything that you want to do in one spot. So definitely go through and check the things that you do want to do. As far as the recommendations that Disney gives you, this is when it gets a little iffy. So this My Day feature is great as far as organizing stuff on your phone, but it also gives Disney the ability to recommend certain things throughout the day based off of the current forecast or the data that Disney has pulled on what the current ride times are. This in theory and on paper sounds great, but it's been very rocky. A lot of people have been saying that it leads them totally down the wrong path or towards a ride that isn't updated. And what I mean by updated is, it hasn't hit the system as far as the phone app goes, the Genie tab in the Disneyland app, on what the current status is of the ride. So because of this, people have led and walked up to these rides that maybe have a lot longer wait time, or maybe they're actually closed. And Disney's trying to work on this. They say that it is an updated, constant process. However, as of right now, and these things can change, I want to add, but as of right now, this updates like pretty much once an hour. So, if you happen to receive the update and refresh your phone, after an hour of being on this app, yeah, it's going to be up to date. But I wouldn't rely so much on what Disney is telling you to do and more on what it is that you want to do. Whether it's your first time or you've been to Disneyland 100 times, there's always like a certain order of things that you want to go on. And sometimes the lines end up being exactly what you think, or they might be a total surprise. Regardless, this is your adventure. So I highly suggest just make it your own. It's more so kind of like a suggestion and giving you the ability to see these estimated wait times. So now that you know about the free Genie tool located in the free Disneyland app, we're gonna take it up a notch, okay? Don't worry, I got you. I'm gonna make this nice and simple, hopefully for you. So you're familiar now with Genie. You can now pay $20 a day per ticket to be able to skip the line. Kind of sounds like MaxPass, right? That's exactly what it is. Instead of MaxPass, they changed the name to Genie Plus. You want a MaxPass? You now got Genie Plus. That's it. Simple. Sort of. Now, using Genie Plus, you don't get fast passes. You don't get max passes. You get lightning lanes. That's right, they updated that as well. Instead of fast pass, max pass, that whole world, it is now known as lightning lane. So let's refresh here. You got the free Genie tool within the Disneyland app, or you can pay $20 a day per ticket to get lightning lanes, which are the ability to skip the line and come back all on your phone. That's it. So you're familiar now with the free Genie tool located in the free Disneyland app, and the option if you wanted to pay $20 per person per day, and that includes both parks if you have a park hopper, by the way, to use Genie Plus and get lightning lanes, which is the new upgraded Fast Pass Max Pass system. There still is a few caveats that I have to tell you, but don't freak out, okay? Don't be deterred, don't be discouraged. It's pretty much the same style on how Max Pass worked. However, it does not cover Rise of the Resistance, Web Slingers, or Radiator Racers. I repeat, you could get lightning lanes for every single ride in both Disneyland and DCA, except for Rise of the Resistance, Web Slingers, and Radiator Racers. So what does that mean? This is where things are just, they're different, all right? Disney has never done this, and it's a new system. So if you wanted to get a lightning lane for either one of those rides that I just mentioned, Web Slingers, Rise of the Resistance, or Radiator Racers, you can do that, except now they are a la carte. So you can literally purchase them, just those individual rides, for anywhere between $7 and $20 per day. These actually totally range depending on the day of the week, the month, if it is a peak day, holiday, seasonal thing, whatever. But the price range is between $7 and $20. So you could do that. That is an option. Here's where people get a little confused. That option is available, but you don't have to have Genie Plus to do it. You don't have to spend the $20 per person per day in order to have the ability to buy one of those 3 rides. So let's just say that you're not doing the upgrade to Genie Plus, okay? You are not spending the $20 per day per person. But all of a sudden, midday, you really want to go on Rise of the Resistance, and it's 3 hours long or something crazy. You can purchase a la carte a lightning lane for that ride, as well as Web Slingers and Radiator Racers. Only those 3 you can do a la carte. However, you can only go on them one time throughout the day, and you can only purchase 2 a la carte lightning lanes per day. This is the most confusing part of this, so if you can get through this, I promise you got it. Let's reiterate one more time. You got the Genie tool, which is free, or you can upgrade to Genie Plus, which gives you the ability to use lightning lanes, except for 3 rides, which is Rise of the Resistance, Web Slingers, and Radiator Racers. If you wanted to go on one of those, you would have to pay a la carte. They range between $7 and $20, and you do not have to have purchased the Genie Plus upgrade in order to use those lightning lanes. You can do it a la carte, you can do them separately. However, you can only do 2 out of the 3 per day, and after you ride one of them, you cannot ride them again. So if you purchase just a lightning lane for Radiator Racers, you cannot go on Radiator Racers, at least using the lightning lane, for the remainder of the day. You can purchase now one of the other 2, the Rise the Resistance or the Web Slingers, but after that, you cannot purchase any more individual lightning lane passes. It's confusing, straight up. But once you understand how that works, that's the hardest part. Aside from that stuff, Genie Plus is essentially the exact same thing as what Max Pass used to be. Remember, you have to be at the park in order to start using it. It's not like you can do it from home or the parking garage. And having said that, if you do have a park hopper, remember, you can't transfer parks until 1 p.m. So if you're at Disneyland and all of a sudden want to do a lightning lane over at DCA, remember and plan accordingly and do it after 1 p.m. because you don't want to be stuck with a lightning lane that you can't use. So I'm curious, let me know in the comments if you guys plan on using Genie Plus or maybe are going to get some individual lightning lanes. Let's talk COVID-19. Not really, but let's talk about the protocols and the rules when visiting Disneyland and DCA. Unfortunately, just like COVID itself, it's still here. And when you visit Disneyland or DCA, you are required to wear a mask when indoors. As long as you're outside, there's no requirement, as well as when you actually show up, you do not have to show any proof of vaccination. It is simply just bring a mask and wear it when you are inside. So wash your hands, stay clean, stay safe, and you should be good to go. Construction updates for 2022 at the Disneyland Resort. Now, this isn't going to be affecting, I feel like, most of us, but mostly it will be in Disneyland. Toontown, as you know, is under a giant refurbishment. Maybe you don't know that, but basically they are reconstructing a lot of Toontown, giving it some facelifts, as well as Mickey's Runaway Railroad will be coming to Toontown in 2023. You'll see a big building that they're working on. It's all happening right now, but Toontown itself will be closing in March of 2022. So depending on when you're watching this video, it may already be closed, but if not, if you're watching it right now and it's before March, you definitely want to hit Toontown if that's a big thing for you. I don't really care about Toontown, if I'm being honest, but if you do, definitely go and visit Toontown before March because it will be closed, and it will be closed for the rest of the year. Lastly, as far as construction updates go, Splash Mountain is still open, and there have been no talks specifically as far as when it will close. We do know that they have been talking about the retheming for the Princess and the Frog, which I'm assuming is still true. However, right now, Splash Mountain is a go. So if you're a fan, if you want to get on it, definitely do it because we don't know until when. Imagineers have been spotted, though, at the Briar Patch gift shop that they have. It looks like they're trying to finally retheme. They've been taking pictures. There's been open discussions on what they can do. It sounds like there's a lot of work to be done, so that's why it's taking so long, because I think we found out that they were retheming it in June 2020. So if you are a fan of Splash Mountain, definitely go on it now because we don't know when it will close. But other than that, everything as far as construction-wise as of this video, those are kind of the major things. As far as purchasing tickets and making reservations, this still holds true going into 2022. You have to make a reservation. It doesn't matter if you have a magic key, if you have a single-day pass, 5-day park hopper, reservations are required before entering the park. So make sure you look online or use the Disneyland app to, reserve your day. You don't want to show up and not be able to get into the park. The more time you can do this in advance, the better. Especially during some of these peak season days. And if you do know ahead of time when you plan on visiting the parks, check as soon as you can for the availability because you want to obviously make sure that you get that spot. And as long as you book it, you're good to go. If you do have to cancel your reservation, that's no problem. You can rebook it. Just make sure you cancel the day before you actually arrive at the park. Don't wait up until that very last minute. That's just, you're looking for something bad to happen. But as long as you cancel ahead of time, you're good to go and you can rebook. Obviously, depending on whatever tier ticket you get, you may only have a certain amount of time or a window in order to use them. But most of these Magic Keys, or if you just get a single day park hopper type of pass, you should be able to book it. And if you need to cancel, you can do that and rebook. Disney Trams is next on our list. If you've been to the park within the last year, you're probably familiar with how the trams have unfortunately been out of service. So if you parked at Mickey and Friends, you would actually have to walk from the Mickey and Friends parking structure to the Esplanade. Normally you would take a tram from the parking structure to the Esplanade, but the trams have been out of service. However, we are hearing that not only are they for sure coming back in 2022, but it sounds like they might be arriving and officially in service as early as February. This is pretty exciting if you obviously went to Disneyland pre-COVID. It was the first ride of the day, right? You would park at the Mickey and Friends parking structure and be able to take the tram over, and it was just exciting. While walking hasn't been too bad, I think it's like, what, 3/4 of a mile? It's like a 15-minute walk, but we missed the trams. And so the fact that they're coming back is great. It sounds like it could be, like I said, as early as February, but there's no definitive date on this as of this video, but they are coming back, and it sounds like they will be coming back soon. As far as parking goes at the Disneyland Resort, you have 3 options. You have Toy Story, Pixar Pals, and Mickey and Friends. Parking is $30 per car per day. You also have an alternative option that I talked about in my last video. Again, check that out because it could save you a few bucks if you don't want to spend the $30. You can obviously always be dropped off as well. Character meet and greets. Now, I know this is almost an essential if you have a little one and you visit either one of the parks, you want to see some of their favorite characters. You still can, however, and people who have visited the park within the last year know this, they still are implementing the COVID-19 protocols, which keep the distance between the characters. They do come down for a visit. You could see a lot of them in and around the different parks, but unfortunately you cannot go up to them and, give them a big hug or get their signature. But they've been very good at kind of posing in the background. So you can always go up and take a picture of your kid, take a picture of you, take a selfie. Whatever you want, there's a lot of different options. And in a way, while you can't personally meet them, it gives you the ability to see a lot of them and in a lot of different places. So while as of right now, as of this video, you cannot do the official meet and greet, they are still around, but we just have to have a little bit of distance between us and the actual characters. So something that's pretty exciting coming in 2022, we don't know exactly when yet, but it should be hopefully soon, is the Disney Magic Bands. Now, Disney World has these already. They've had them since 2013. It basically allows you, it's like a, it kind of looks like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch type of band, and it has some type of radio frequency type of scannable technology that allows you to essentially use it for everything in the parks at the Disneyland Resort. You go up and basically scan your wrist, and it will either allow you to use your lightning lane. It could even open the doors for your hotel room. A lot of interactive type of activities you can do with that as well. It's endless. I've never actually used one before, so it's going to be very new for me, but it'll be new for a lot of us because Disneyland has never had it. So look forward to that coming hopefully in the next couple of months in 2022. So as I've mentioned, this video is an update to my previous video, and you can see that below in the description on the 10 things that you need to know before visiting Disneyland. I highly suggest, if you have not been to the parks in a long time, or haven't been since the COVID-19 closure of both of the parks, definitely watch that video first, because we really go in depth on a lot of the things that you need to know and a lot of the tips and secrets on maximizing and making sure your day is the most efficient. This video that you're watching is definitely still a must because it is an update from the previous video. But if you refer back to my first video, we go through every single thing. This is more of just an update from that video. Lastly, I just want to say, look, whether you went to the park a few weeks ago or maybe it's been since before COVID that you've gone, things are different, right? Aside from some of these things and maybe some of these issues that could be a little bit uncomfortable or out of the norm, Disneyland and Disney California Adventure still hold that magic, and you're gonna have such an awesome time when you do plan on going. In the meantime, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop me a comment below, or you can follow me on Instagram at Jake at the Park or on TikTok at Jake at the Park Official. Enjoy your time at the Disneyland Resort. For now, my name is Jake from Jake at the Park, and I'll see you later.